are now going to move to Unit 3. So far, Unit 1, we spoke about the core principles of education and training, which is the foundation that is going to give you the basic skills that you need in order to enter this field of work. We also spoke about the training cycle during Unit 2, which is another core model that we're going to be using in order to be effective as learning and development practitioners. And now, during this unit, we are going to focus on the importance of effectively engaging learners in education and training. So Unit 3, Engage Learners in Education and Training, is all about developing the knowledge and skills that you need as practitioners to enable learners to become engaged and involved in their own education and training. You will develop an understanding of mentoring as a tool and how you can use that, and the different ways in which you can assist learners in taking ownership of their own progress and reviewing it on an ongoing basis. So Unit 3 is all about ensuring this learners' engagement that we need in order to effectively facilitate learning. So let's take a closer look at what exactly we're going to be covering during Unit 3. So we're going to do a recap first of all, as this is quite important for your assignments. We're going to do a recap of the purpose of training and development programs, and then we're also going to focus on the purpose of engaging learners in education and training. So what is the purpose of that engagement? Of course, it supports knowledge acquisition, and it allows them to improve their skills, because the more engaged they are in their own learning, the more focused they are, and the easier it is for us as practitioners to ensure that our training delivery is effective. And then the more engaged they are, the more they collaborate with their peers at the actual training sessions, and we create this collaborative learning environment. So we're going to talk about in more detail the purpose of engagement when it comes to learning and development, and again do a recap of going through the different learning and development programs and their key and primary purpose as well. Okay. So having done that, we are going to go into more detail into the different methods and approaches that we can use in order to engage learners. So we know what the purpose of learners' engagement is. We know what the purpose of our training and education program is. And now, how could we ensure that we can create that engagement and succeed in our roles? What are the different ways we can do that? What are the different tools that are available to us as practitioners? We are going to be covering all of that during Unit 3. To give you an example, some of the things that we're going to be focusing on is how we create open discussions, how we used Q&A sessions, how we use role plays, games, in order to really enhance engagement when it comes to the learning and development programs that we are facilitating. So you will know by the end of this unit, you will know exactly what tools you can use to ensure that your learners are really engaged, which then enables you to ensure that the objective of your training and development program is met. Because the more engaged they are, the easier it would be for you as a practitioner to ensure the training is effectively delivered. A quite interesting topic that we're also going to explore is the importance of motivation and what motivates learners to take part in training and development, training and education programs. Because knowing that allows you to then ensure that you support them effectively. So what are some of the things that motivate people? And one of the things that you may find quite often is if we're talking about performance improvement, for instance, and you are delivering training and development programs as a part of an HR team within an organization, you might have learners or students, employees who come to your sessions and they're not that engaged. They're not that engaged. So by anticipating that motivation for them to actually be there, we are able to flex our delivery style and we are able to design the content of our sessions in a way that is engaging for them. So are they attending because they would like to improve their performance? Are they attending because they would like to progress within the company? Are they attending because they're looking for a career change and they have signed up to attend the session that we're delivering because that will give them the knowledge that they need? We have to always think about what motivates our learners, because understanding the psychology behind why people choose to learn and how they learn is really key for ensuring that we are successful in the roles that we have chosen. Talking about motivation, we're also going to talk about intrinsic motivation and how important it is to, why people choose to learn based on reasons which aren't purely external. So, for instance, it could give them a sense of achievement, a sense of accomplishment. They might sign up for a certain course that is available for them to take at work or outside of work because they would like to push their boundaries, they would like to connect with other people from other departments, or if the course is facilitated outside of the organization, with other like-minded people. So motivation is not always driven by external reasons. It could be an internal thing as well, and it very often is. So we have to sometimes, as I would like to say, put the hat of a psychologist and think from the perspective of what really drives people. And we have to think from that perspective in order to actually be effective in what we do, because that really helps us engage our learners. The more engaged they are, they're focused, they're paying attention, and that decreases the chances of ineffectiveness when it comes to your training programs. Okay, so this is something that we're going to talk about at length during Unit 3. We're also going to talk about mentoring and your role as a mentor. You may not necessarily be a formal mentor, but this is something that we could use when we deliver training and development activities in order to really get people to connect with us on a deeper level. So, what is mentoring? Mentoring is when we use our own experiences and things that we have learned and share that with our students and with our learners. And this allows us to build rapport. It allows us to show ourselves as credible professionals. It allows us to influence their perspectives and to also inspire them. And that helps us engage them even better. And when, as I said, when they're engaged, they're much more receptive to the content that we are sharing with them. So we're going to talk about the concept of mentoring and what skills you need in order to know how to use mentoring when you facilitate training and educational content. We are also going to talk about whether you yourselves have had any mentors. We're going to include a lot of personal examples at this level because this is quite helpful. You can learn from your peers as well, and it is quite useful for you to kind of think about some of the mentors that you had in your life and how that has helped you as well. And because when you are mentoring, referring to personal experiences and what you have learned is essential. So we are going to be talking about our own personal experiences as well and thinking about how they have shaped our learning, and then we're going to be thinking about how we could use our own experiences in order to then engage our learners. So the topic of mentoring will be discussed during this. Another thing that we are going to be talking about is the importance of supporting learners in reviewing their own education and training progress. So we're going to be thinking about how we can encourage them to reflect and how we could use one-on-one coaching, how we could also train, for instance, managers to use one-on-one coaching if we have to, if we're delivering training and development activities in a, in a company to a wider team. So we're going to use all these different methods that we have at hand to encourage learners to take ownership of their progress and to continuously review that. So self-reflection is something that we can encourage as practitioners. And as I said, one-on-one coaching opportunities is another tool that could be implemented in alignment with obviously line management. We could develop a culture of ongoing feedback. We could use learning and development plans. We could also utilize performance appraisals. So we are going to talk about all these different ways in which we can encourage learners. And I'm conscious that I am talking largely from the perspective of you working as a training and development practitioner in a company. If you choose to pursue a role, perhaps if it's not within a company where you're directly responsible for training and developing employees, we're also going to look at what other roles there are out there available and how we could encourage learners to reflect on their own progress. I'm going to give you an example. When I was studying to become a qualified trainer, I had mentors that were encouraging me as part of the school I was studying with. They were encouraging me to continuously reflect. So you may choose to work in an establishment that offers educational programs. So how could you then encourage the learners that you're supporting to continuously reflect? So we're going to talk about all these different tools that you could use, because this is quite important. We covered that as well. It was all about engaging learners and the importance of knowing what tools to use in order to ensure that your learners are engaged, and how that really helps you to that helps you to ensure that the facilitation was successful and that they have also received the information, and most importantly they are implementing it. So unit 2 and unit 3 go really nicely together, because whilst you're learning how to go through the training cycle from evaluation to evaluation of learning needs to evaluation of the training effectiveness, and then unit 3 is all about the engaging element of training provision and how you utilize that. So both these units, sorry, I keep using module and unit interchangeably here, but these two units, unit 2 and unit 3, are quite practical as well.